You having a stressful day and need a few laughs? Well, you come to the right place. Myself, Lyric, and Jimmy Jam are fathers formerly in the music industry who have a lot to say. So sit back, sip your cup of coffee, and welcome to the shenanigans.
Welcome to the Coffee Break Podcast.
Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode where you see us together.
First time.
Episode 10 of the podcast. I'm your host, Lyrickin.
I'm Jimmy Jam.
We feeling good, baby. We feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. It was a great weekend. The weather was beautiful, like we talked about. So, getting back out there and seeing things starting to grow.
So the last pod you were talking about, you were going down to get your King of Glamping on.
Yes.
Getting it started. How did that go?
It went very well. I thought there was a problem with the heat system, and Christy was like, you worry too much, which I do. She tells me this all the time. And I thought for sure there was something wrong, because when my dad and I closed it up for the year, I turned the heat on. It was like October. Went to bed, woke up, and it was 40 degrees in there. And I was like, what's going on? And the heat would kick back on. Mm-hmm. It would run for a cycle, and then it would shut off, and it would come back on. So, all off season, I've been thinking about what's going on with this. What could be wrong? Is it the furnace? Is it something? And I'm looking up all this stuff. So I called the one guy down there, and I said, hey, we're season's starting here in a few weeks. We want to make sure the heat's working. Do you mind stopping over and checking things out? So he goes, yeah. He goes, give me a day or so. I'll pop in. And he said, do you want me to have my heater guy come in? And I said, no, if you can figure it out, that's great. And we'll just give me a ballpark of what it's going to cost before we do anything. Calls me, goes, I'm at your place. I said, okay. I said, how bad is it? He goes, your propane tanks are empty. Both propane tanks were bone dry. So Christy and I go down, and I'm thinking, is this going to fix it? Is it going to cost? How much is it going to cost? Is the propane the thing? And I'll tell you what, we filled those propane tanks yesterday. That heat was kicking.
No, from experience, my house is run off for propane, and I had that experience in my life. Because me, we're just newly into the homeowner thing, and we bought a smaller house to get used to being in. Now we're getting ready to look to buying a bigger house, and I'm used to just paying the bill and just keeping it moving.
Yeah,
I'm not used to just having to monitor things, and I've gotten good now to the point where I check it every time. I get every Friday I check my propane, or now that it's hot, every time I cut the grass I check the propane.
Yeah. So
it's like second nature, but it's happened a few times.
And it's really cool because that's the thing about the campground. I will say, everyone is so friendly and they help each other out. Mm-hmm. It's a community. It really is. And the guy across the street came over, and I was telling him what was going on, and he showed me everything, where the regulators are and how there's a regulator that I can change it from one tank that I'm on. Mm-hmm. If it starts to run low, I just turn the thing and it switches over to the other tank.
Nice.
And there's also a meter in there that says, when it's green, of course, it's full. When it's red, it means it's dry, and it tells you which tank is full.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this existed.
There's actually a thing you can buy for the top. I haven't bought one because the new service I go through, they monitor it themselves. I just double check, but there's actually a piece you can buy that you can have installed when they come out to fill them. And it Bluetooths to your phone, and you can check it on an app.
Okay.
How much propane is in actual...
Well, these are actually only 30-pound tanks. It's the size up from what you use on a grill.
Yeah.
So we took them over to BJ's to get filled.
Oh.
And literally, I think it was like $12 a tank to get filled.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I wish it was that. I got two 200-gallon ones.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It doesn't bother in the summertime because we don't use a lot of
You don't
heat.
use
we
it,
don't.
yeah.
I mean, Tara. I mean, you know, my wife loves to cook and she
Yeah.
cooks. But wintertime is kind of when it's more suspect because you're using the heat and hot water more and stuff like that. Well, the king of glamping has returned, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I'm back.
If you haven't known.
It's good to be back.
So, weird question for you.
Sure.
In all the people you've met in your life or people you haven't met, if you had a make-a-wish wish that you can have and you can hang out with one person for a 24-hour period,
Okay.
who would it be and why?
Well, you know, automatically, I think as a person, what we do is we go to that famous person. Who would you sit down with? You know, like would it be Michael Jackson? Everyone knows me. Knows that I love Michael Jackson. But
He owns the jackets.
I do. I have the jackets, the wigs, the glove, everything. But it would not be Michael Jackson. What I would most likely do is want to spend the day with my mom's father. He was a little old Italian man. Not little, you know, he didn't have a high education, but he taught himself he already spoke Italian, of course, but he taught himself Spanish. I believe he taught himself French. He built his own house with his sons. He was creative in a way that, you know, he had a garden, and he, like, the way, without using using a cistern system, he, like, the water, it watered itself. Like, he didn't have to be out there with a hose all the time. He was just an amazing man, and unfortunately, he died when I was young. So I never got to be as close. Like, we grew up next door to my dad's parents, so we were very close to them. And my mom's parents, they lived further out, but he was just an amazing man from what I can remember, and I hear stories about him, and I wish I could spend one day with him just to talk and ask him things and have him give me some advice on life, because
That'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
It's weird because you're the same reasons that you say, and the reasons why are very similar to the person who I was going to pick. And at first I was going to pick Robert Downey Jr. because of his downs, ups, fighting things just to get to where he's at now. But when we initially talked about this pod and this question, even though I've had multiple times with him, the knowledge that who I am today, as a man today, I would love my great-grandfather. We had a very, very great connection. Everybody knows him as the running man. He ran marathons.
really.
And people in the over there on Lampeter Road, they know him because he ran that road. Everybody in my high school knew the running man. They never knew his name until I was like, that's
Your great-grand.
Yeah, like, that's my great-grandfather. He's a marathon runner. Everybody knew him. Oh, running man. Hey, how you doing? And literally, when he passed away, in the newspaper, they put the running man.
Really?
Because so many people knew him because of that. And it was weird because a lot of those people that knew him as the running man showed up.
Wow.
And me and him had magnificent times of growing up together. He was a man who I think that's the way I am now. He will stare at something. He will look at it for hours until he digests it and figures out how to put it together and take it apart.
Wow.
He first moved to the state, to New York. First day he moved here, he got his license, not speaking English. Second day, he got a job as a taxi driver, not speaking English. He sat there and he told me the story. He goes, I sat there and I looked at the book and I forced myself to figure out what these words were by the pictures, by everything. A man that came to this state of New York from Puerto Rico, barely knowing any English whatsoever, figured out how to get a license.
it's just, isn't it funny how with our backgrounds, you being Puerto Rican, I'm half Italian.
I am part Italian.
Are you really?
Yeah.
See, I knew there was something about you I liked.
It's the Italian nose.
Yeah. Well, I think I got you beat there, buddy. But no, just even with your great grandfather coming from Puerto Rico, my family, like my grandmother, my mom's mother, she was actually sent home in first grade because she couldn't speak English.
Wow.
And all she did was speak Italian. So they sent her home. But the way that they fought, they didn't I shouldn't say fight, but they worked to the bone to get ahead in life. They didn't take handouts. They didn't do any of this. They learned what they had to learn. They did what they had to do. They worked how they had to work, and they provided for their families
They
to the
figured
point,
everything out
to where you and I are able to sit here today and do this.
I remember and I think it still exists to this day, but my grandfather took his old riding lawnmower, figured out with old bicycle parts and a broom handle, he figured out how to put a trash bag in the back of it to collect the grass. So with a broom handle and bicycle parts, he would sit there and do it, and he could scoop it up and then take it to where he wanted to go and drop it off. Like,
that's amazing.
The guy built his own sauna so he could sweat out after runs. He built his own garage from foundation on up. Like, there was nothing that man could do. And one of my biggest moments in my life, was he didn't want none of the grandchildren in my family to not know where our history was.
Yeah.
So, in San Sebastian, Puerto Rico, this man with his own hands built a house on his property. And it was so his grandchildren got to go to Puerto Rico together. And we only got to do it once, because shortly after that he passed away from cancer. But we got to go down there.
God rest his soul.
And when we saw the house and the way he stood in front of that house, like, this is why I did it. And you could tell in his eyes.
The pride
that he had. Because he was a man that smiled.
Yeah.
But that smile right there was the biggest smile I've ever seen that man have in my entire life.
Wow.
Just the joys that we had, the authentic food, seeing the family we've never seen, and just learning how to do. I climbed a pineapple tree, or a coconut tree, excuse me, barefooted, because he says I couldn't do it. So I said, what? I climbed up there.
How old were you?
I just turned 19.
Okay.
No, excuse me, I was 21. My cousins were 18 because they were legally allowed to drink down there.
Okay. Is that the drinking age in Puerto Rico, 18?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes, and I tell you what, those memories are like cemented in my head, and it's the same exact reasons why you chose. So it's crazy how two people are very similar in the way they were brought up.
Yeah.
It's that old school. I love it.
It is. And you don't, unfortunately, like I said, you don't see that too much nowadays. And when you do, you got to really grab onto it and ask the questions and learn from those kind of people, because they're so far and few in between. And when someone like that comes into your life, and, Christy's dad, and my dad's amazing, don't get me wrong, but Christy's dad, he is so creative, and he can build anything and look at something and just make it happen. And
your dad scares me. Your dad looks like he has a mean right hook.
Yeah.
Trust me, he probably does.
Probably.
But could you imagine the knowledge that would be passed on if people would actually do what they did back in the day and just ask their... You know how much stuff I learned by fixing my car by asking my wife's father?
Yeah. Who's
grown up a mechanic. I can call this guy, I call him Human Pep Boys, because I can call him over the phone, but like, my car's making this noise. It's this, and this. This is what you need to do to fix it. All right.
And it works.
And it works. I'm just like,
I think we just need, as a society, we need to not lean on, but we need to cherish our older generation and learn from them, because they're not going to be around forever, and we need to be able to pass on to ours what they're passing on to us. We just have to be open to learn from it. And I think sometimes in today's society, we are so quick to think we know everything that we don't take the precious gem that's given to us, and that is to learn from what brought you into this world to begin with.
I think it's all because of this. We can easily go to Google, go to YouTube, and figure out how to fix something.
Yeah.
But just because you know how to fix this part of the car, you don't know the tricks. If it doesn't fit, this is how you can do it.
Yep.
Or you can add this type of silicone in here to do this. Is different tricks that people have learned from on hand doing. Like, there's things I used to DJ, but there's things that I don't know. And I'd be like, hey, Jimmy, I'm having problems matching this with this. What can I do? And you can be like, well, try this and this and this. That's where we're getting a lot of disconnect. And I would be all for a class even in, like, high school like that.
Yeah. Life.
Like a life class.
A life class. Like, learn how to balance a checkbook. Learn what a credit score is. Learn basic.
If I would have known what a credit score was, thank God I'm on the way of fixing it now. Credit Karma, thank you. But
hey, mine tanked years ago, and I've rebuilt it, and I'll tell you, it's not easy to do that, and
No.
And credit, people really need to know. I think that's the one thing they really need to teach is about your credit, because that, as you get older, that's your life.
Lifeline there. Oh, trust me, my son and my daughters will both know about that. I mean, so, with that being said, what's the coolest thing in the news today?
Oh, can I grab my phone and...
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go with the phone again.
I know. Well, I can't memorize these stories, but...
Me either.
You know, it's hard to believe that they actually happen. So, a woman in Anchorage, Alaska, had the scare of a lifetime when using an outhouse in the back country. As she went to sit down on the toilet, a bear bit her in the bottom. Her brother heard the screaming and went out to the outhouse, which was about 150 feet away from the yurt, or their house as it's called. Yurt. And they found, her name was Shannon, tending to her wound. They first thought she was bitten by a squirrel or a mink or something small. And then with a headlamp, they were able to see the bear taking off. And, you know, it was bleeding, but it wasn't super bad. So Shannon did survive. The Alaskan Department of Fish and Game and Wildlife biologists suspects it was a black bear based on the photos and the tracks that they saw. So you go to sit down on it.
I have this biggest. It's because I think I watch too much TV. But I double and triple check before I sit down to make sure there's not a snake in there.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what.
Especially if you're out in the wild.
But a bear, I mean, talk about taking one in the ass. I mean, that's just...
So do you think that, do you think the bear felt attacked, that he just kind of nibbled and left?
I don't know. I don't know what the bear was thinking. I still am trying to comprehend how the bear got in there and put its head up to where she sat down enough to bite it.
Maybe the smell made it hallucinate or something.
I don't know. You wouldn't think a bear would even come that close, or... It's just one of those news articles. It's crazy.
I've heard of snakes in the toilet. Mm-hmm. I've even heard of a alligator.
Yeah,
but never a bear.
A bear and it was an outhouse. So, it must have went in the back from what they said, and it was resting in there. And when she sat down, it disturbed the bear. He bit her on the butt, and. Yeah, that's my crazy news story for the week.
It's funny because my wife's uncle was a shark diver.
Okay.
So he had bites on his feet, bites here from sharks. And he's told me stories, but a bear nibbling on your butt cheek.
Yeah.
It's I've never heard of that ever.
All I got to do is the rump shaker. Sorry, I had to.
Man. So, well, you know what else is in the news? Trade rumors in football.
Okay.
Russell Wilson is the big name hitting all over the place right now. He is.
I don't know.
Rumor has it that he's very unhappy. He's publicly said that he's unhappy.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the biggest rumor that I woke up to this morning was that the Bears have offered multiple first-round picks, even a couple second rounds, and Nick Foles.
Really?
For Russell. They feel that Russell can take him to the next level. I would be very scared if he went to that team. Because they have made it to the playoffs and deep into the playoffs with Trubisky and Foles, who are not on Russell's level. So if you would bring somebody with
someone with
Russell's
his level of expertise and experience.
If you were the GM of the Steelers, what would you give up for Russell Wilson right now?
I'd probably give up Ben. Because I think it's that time. Like I said, Ben's done. He's wrapping it up. And Russell Wilson still has some years left under his belt. And I think he's a good player. He took him to the Super Bowl a couple years back, and he did very well. He can keep his head in the game. He knows how to play. And he's a leader. And I think he would be very scary on another team that would actually, because it doesn't seem like Seahawks evolved. No.
With play calling and stuff like that, and that was one of his biggest gripes. So, with that being said, the draft is coming up in April.
Okay.
My horrible Eagles are picking number 6. And I really hope we go... Jamar Chase is my big guy name because I've actually started getting into draft and looking at draft prospects. But I want a big hitter wide receiver.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is formidable enough to be a good, possibly great quarterback. I love Miles Sanders, our running back. He's my favorite on the team. And I think we have a couple young guys that would prevail if we had that number 1.
Yeah.
As far as your Steelers, they're picking number 24.
Yeah, and that has to be a quarterback.
You think?
I really do. Mm-hmm. I think it has to be a quarterback, and here's why. We have the running game.
Yes.
We have the running game. We have the passing game. We have good wide receivers.
I like that wide receiver you guys have.
Smith-Schuster.
No, Claypool. Claypool, I think that's Claypool. He was a rookie this year. He played amazing. He got some jets on his feet.
But and we had the defense.
You guys always had a good defense.
The steel curtain. But I really think we need to focus on the leader of the team. We need to like we talked before, this could be Ben's last year. He took the pay cut. I think we need to grow that area of the team. We need to have some good quarterbacks on the team that are gonna, if one goes down, the next one can step in.
I feel that it's time to do your Favre Rodgers thing, Montana Young thing right now. It's time to. If Ben could survive 2 years, that'd be crazy. But I think it's time to start grooming that next.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger. Carpool. That's my bad. Carpool. You got Ebron too. Damn, you guys got a nice team here.
I think they have some potential this year. I really do.
Yeah. You have one of our running backs. One of the running backs we dropped. I was surprised. He's a good running back. But
And you're still going for your boy to the Colts. You're still...
Yeah, I'm secretly root. See, I got the blue on today. And like I said, I liked him as a person and how his family was first to him, and being family man, that was really cool to me.
Yeah.
So I feel that he's gonna be great over there. I already seen pictures of him working out with his new wide receivers. So, and we just finished the All-Star break in the NBA. Team LeBron won. But
made you very happy.
Oh yeah. But the NBA's in full swing. They are getting ready to. The trade deadline's coming up, so I have a feeling the Lakers will pull a big move with picking another big man up.
Okay.
And then they're probably gonna hit the buyout market after that, which is like the equivalent to the NBA's free agency pool.
Yeah, Subpoena, my barber, she said I really got to get involved in the basketball game a little bit more. She said I got to step it up. If I'm going to be talking to you, I got to...
Can't let her call you out, man.
No, she will call me out. That's that's why she's been cutting my hair for so long. She'll call me out in a heartbeat.
Oh, man. So, I know you were down getting your Glamping King on.
Yes, sir.
But I heard the rumor mill of you went back to revisit an old favorite TV show.
We have. Christy never experienced it, so we have stepped into the world of Sons of Anarchy. Cool. And, it's
a good show.
It is a great show. And when it was at its height and it was the big thing on FX, I started maybe around season 5. So I know some of the later stuff. I don't remember everything, but I missed the first 4 seasons. And being able to go back and watch them and really see how the characters evolved to where they were when I picked up on the show has given me another, like for the show. It's a good show.
It's rewatchable. I've watched it over at least two or three times. It took me about the third time I watched it, I realized that homeless lady is in every season, and I figured out who she was at the end. Who she finally is, the homeless lady that always pops up here and there.
Okay.
I finally know who she is. And my wife brought it to my attention. I'm like, that makes sense because of how you see her on like the last episode.
You think it's Teller?
No, the homeless lady is the Angel of Death.
Okay.
Because when you see her in the last... You see her all the time, and she's always around when something crazy happens or when somebody dies. And
that happens a lot on the show.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
But the last time you see her, she's sitting with her blanket over her head.
Uh-huh.
Like the Green Reaper, drinking wine and eating bread.
Well, I'm going to have to pay more attention to that because that I have not picked up on. But
it took my wife to show me that because usually my favorite thing to do is I love catching things that are wrong.
Yeah.
If they had a watch on and it was off or like
yeah.
I love doing that. And I'm like, oh, did you catch that? And she'd be like, no, enjoy the show, damn it. But, it was great. It's definitely worth rewatching. How far did you guys make it?
We're just wrapping up season 3, starting season 4. They just came back from Ireland, and
that was a good storyline.
That was a great storyline. It dragged out a little bit. I was like, okay, time to get the kid back. Let's get the kid back. Let's get back into life. And him wanting to kind of give up his son kind of freaked me out a little bit. But
yeah, that was.
I understood
why he
was gonna do it, but that's not something I could even fathom. Like my not having Jimmy in my life would devastate me. That would, and I'm sure every parent feels the same way about their child.
You take one of my kids, I'm going through hell and fire to find you.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes.
I will turn this guy into the biggest gangster in the world and we'll come find you. So, with that being said, have you have a favorite episode at all?
So far?
Yeah.
Not yet, because like I said, I haven't gotten. It's the plot's thickening, so I'm not to the point where I found that one episode that I like, which I think is coming up. If I remember correctly, it's going to be more in season 5. There's going to be an episode that I like. It involves Opie more than anything, and I think that's going to be my favorite episode.
I just love Jax's development.
Yeah, his character development.
Oh, they did such an amazing job. The spinoff apparently is doing pretty good. I was waiting till it got to a couple seasons in so they figure things out, and then I was going to go watch that one. They're getting ready to release the the Redwood original TV series, which is the original group.
The first 9.
The first charter, yeah.
The first 9.
So they're getting ready to release that, which is going to be...
And that's going to be about John Teller, right?
Yeah. So for what I heard from the grapevines is... what is her name? Peggy Bundy?
Oh, it's Katie Seagal.
That she's going to return, but it's going to almost be like she's telling Jax's son the story on how everything happened.
How John and Clay and...
Yeah,
Piney and all them.
Yeah, it'll be something like that where you see that going on, but she's not actually. She's the one narrating.
Okay, so it's more of a narrative.
Yeah,
it's like a prequel to everything. Okay,
so that definitely is one of my top rewatchable series.
Yeah, we're really into it.
Office is still number 1 to me.
Oh, you gotta love The Office.
That's somebody I would love to hang out with Michael Scott for a whole
Dunder Mifflin,
day.
baby. Dunder Mifflin.
So, but, you know what our favorite thing to talk about is?
It has to... Wait, let me guess. We have to go into the comic world because my buddy Colin called me and he was talking a little bit about stuff that's coming up, and it's stuff that you and I have already kind of touch base on, so I'd like to bring him in here in the next couple weeks, but let's talk some comic.
So in China, I guess to boost the morality up a little bit over there, they reopened the theaters after the whole COVID situation, and they re-released Avatar.
Okay.
Which by far, amazing movie. Amazing. I love the movie.
Hands down one of the best.
It has regained the number 1 spot because of the re-release. Avatar has officially made $2.8 billion.
Wow.
Avengers Endgame, $2.79 billion. And you know what the key is to both of them? Zoe. She was a blue monkey, and then a green "I will kill you" person.
You know, she's a guardian of the galaxy. So Zoe Saldana, I mean, she is. Yeah.
So if you want a hit movie, get Zoe Saldana and paint her with a color. $1 billion movie right there. Moral of the story. But the big thing to me is I'm just happy theaters are now back.
I would love, yeah. I'm ready to get back into it. I'm ready to go to a movie theater. I thought sitting at home would be really cool. You know, you'd be able to pause it, you get up, go to the restroom, get some more popcorn, do this, do that. But it really does take away the experience of not being in the theater. There's something about that experience.
The cool thing about being able to see it when I get home is, and you know me, I rewatch a lot.
I know you
to
do.
Get Easter eggs, to get things I didn't catch, and that's the cool thing for me. But when Black Widow comes out, I will be dragging you out to go see that one.
You don't have to drag me. I'll be right there.
Spider-Man, we will be going out to go see that too as well. But you know what comes out this week, right?
Oh yes, and I'm ready for it.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Zack Snyder's Justice League. I am so ready. I'm ready to see what all the hype is about this Justice League. 4 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, I that's what I was telling Colin. I was going to let you lay it out, but and Colin, he was texting me and I said, are you ready for the 4 hour show? And he just sent me a picture of The Rock going, "Bring it on."
I'm gonna be happy, and the fact that the cool thing is that I heard that HBO is gonna be doing the thing that you can do with Disney Plus. If we can start a watch party where we watch the same thing at the same exact time in different locations.
Oh, really?
They have a watch party function. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like if we want to see Black Widow, we're gonna watch it on Disney Plus. You get it on your end, I get it on my end, and we start a watch party. And then what it is I send you the code. You type in the code in the watch party app, and then it'll synchronize our TV so we watch it at the same exact time.
So we can talk and that's cool.
So
that's cool.
But they're saying that they're going to be doing it with HBO. But 4 hours long, I'm happy I get to see that one at home. Because I'm going to let the wife go to bed. I'm going to let the kids go to bed. I'm going to grab my big gallon of Coca-Cola, some fries, and watch.
I just don't know what all is going to go into this. There has to be so much more filler than what was done originally. So I'm excited to see what they do. 4 hours. I mean, Endgame was long. That was everyone was hoping for the break in between.
Endgame. I'm giving Zack Snyder benefit of the doubt because there's two storylines you're going to be seeing in this one. You're going to see the original Justice League movie storyline with Steppenwolf. But after they defeat Steppenwolf, why can't I remember his name now? The guy who Steppenwolf served will be coming down. So the Thanos of the Justice League will be Darkseid. There we go. Darkseid will be coming.
And so that's going to be the next...
That's the second bad that's in the movie.
Okay.
So that's why it's 4 hours long. You're getting pretty much two movies in one. And they get to actually give you the origins of Cyborg, which they cut out. He said that was a half hour itself. His football career and stuff like that. You don't need Wonder Woman's, but apparently Green Lantern's in this movie.
Wow. Now that won't be Ryan Reynolds, but...
they said it is.
Really?
Yes, that is just because if you remember in the Justice League, the Green Lanterns fell. So all the Green Lanterns are dead. So I think it's going to be a quick Easter egg to him playing that.
I didn't think I thought with him being in Deadpool that he would not even venture back over to DC. I thought he would stay on the Marvel side with Disney and everything like that. I did not. I honestly thought he was done with that character.
Deadpool himself has actually been in the DC comics.
Really?
Yeah. And he's the only character, besides when the Amalgam verse world happened, Deadpool has popped up every once in a while in DC. Yeah.
He cracks me up. Deadpool is amazing.
I love that guy. But it's a great time to be a comic head. Great time.
There's a lot going on for you.
Yeah.
You love it.
My nerd powers are at super max right now. Super max. So before we head out, I want to give a big shout out to my big brother Jay Wise. He sent us some Flyboy Club t-shirts.
Yo, what's up? You are now tuned into the Coffee Break Podcast, and this is your boy Jay Wise. I represent that flyboylifestyle.com, where you can cop the flies tees, flies hoodies, shirts, jeans, whatever you need, man. Come get fly with the Flyboy Club, you dig? You know what I'm saying? Coffee Break Podcast, Lyric and Jimmy Jam, what up? All right.
Well, with that being said, how do you feel?
I feel good. This was a great time. I'm glad we're finally able to get past this COVID era and start doing this together and talking.
We are in the VIP session of Club Mauler, ladies and gentlemen. Got the lights. Lucky we don't have the music going on.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's a wonderful time talking to you people. Have a good evening.
Good night.
I want to thank everybody for listening to another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcast streaming service. And of course, follow us on all social media platforms. And like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to the shenanigans.
Thanks for tuning in to the Coffee Break Podcast.